righty, guys. Basically, if you did not see in our Facebook group, um, Debbie put some really great questions of things that she had about this certification with National Senior Placement Academy. There is by the way, compliance and facts, answers, and questions that is going to be dropped in the comments by one of the ladies that has co-hosting abilities. And I want you to kind of go through it. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it yourself. Now, this is with our compliance team already, but I want you to know that this is because we as Seniors Network is beta testing this certification and this placement academy. It is imperative that we follow a structure, which most of us were like, what the heck? What do we do? I know that a lot of you guys were having questions. So I got this today from corporate, and I want you to know it is it's got 22. Okay, there's 22 bullet points. And basically, it goes over branding, how you brand, the way you're going to brand, the social media, recruitment conversations, how you're going to support it, what you're going to do. You have to look this over so you understand if you're compliant, how it works. This came from the legal department. Again, because we are beta testing this. These rules right now are in place, but in next month, we might be tweaking them. Not we, I'm sorry. I'll get it from corporate. I don't mean we, but corporate will go ahead and be tweaking them, and they'll send us an updated, and I'll make sure everybody gets it. But as for now, this is the compliance that they are expecting us to do. It is with all of our state brokers. I don't care what state. By the way, you have to be in the United States, not Canadian. So there is something. Is this opportunity available in Canada or other countries? So unfortunately, no. However, I do want to say that if there are certifications like this, you never know, they might have a partnership with them. But this is a beta, and they're seeing how well it does here and the way it goes across. And then they'll put it across the rest of the company. I encourage you, it's in both workplace and in Facebook and on that other channel that I don't think most of us are on. Slack, that one. Forgive me if you did not reach out. If you've been reaching out to me there, I honestly don't know really how. I know how to use it, but it's very overwhelming because I'm getting too many messages, and they're not really typically from people that I think are coming to me. It's from a bunch of other things. So it's like I'm in a bunch of group chats and it's overwhelming. If you want the best place to get a hold of me, because workplace is going away at the end of this month, Facebook. I check it. I'm happy to get back to you. All right, so there it is. Somebody put it in the chat box. That's for you guys, okay? So with that being said, one of the things I've never done with you guys, and I think it would be kind of fun, and one of the girls is going to put this in the chat box too, is really talking about, the actual process. Okay. By the way, cheers. There you go. I think there was some housekeeping we had to do before this. One, welcome everybody. You guys already know who I am. And two, I have not gotten back about the CRM because we were having some questions about the CRM and state and putting our state together. But I want you to know that I'm working on it. And my talk of working on it with you guys is, hey, by the way, we're beta testing this. If it doesn't go well, then no harm, no foul. But why are you making us continuously do this? Why don't we just do it as a state? It's easy to track. So Don't worry. Anyways, during, I believe, the beta testing to our network, for what it's worth, we should be getting it for all the state because that's what they originally had talked to us about and told us. And then it kind of felt like it was something different, but we'll see how that goes. And there you go with that. So, one of the things I've never really talked about is the chaos that happens during a transaction. This is very one off from something that I talk about because I always talk about marketing to you guys. But think about this. Okay, not me, ChatGPT, but I love it. This is a call to hook, you guys. All right. The hook is what the family taking a client from chaos to close. You guys, come on. That's great hook. Thank you, ChatGPT. Anyway, you got to think of this. I always tell you from a sandwich shop, right? I have constantly talked sandwich shop. So tonight's goal is me taking you guys actually through real life client scenarios with chaotic family issues and how to figure it out because there's a lot. You get so much stuff in there and you have to understand why you need to bring in that secret sauce. Do you understand that that secret sauce is a huge component and you'll understand why as you go through something with family dynamics. And if something isn't correct, then you have the government side of it. You've got so many facets of a transaction when you talk about an older adult. I'll show you guys why. So when we walk away from this class, I want you guys to be able to manage drama, but you cannot be a part of it. Why? Because you're bringing your secret sauce and you know who your secret sauce is. Then I want you guys to understand who the actual decision maker is when you go walk into a client's, walk into a client or walk in to meet somebody. The reason why I say that is because it's not always the owner. Maybe the owner has cognitive issues. Maybe it's not, maybe the oldest child looks like she does. I say she because it's typically the girl, the daughter, the oldest daughter. But the fact is that there may be a trust attorney that's overseeing stuff like that because there's financial, like sibling rivalry that may happen in decisions like that. So they may only have decisions on the caregiving side. So I'm going to teach you little tips and tricks of you'll see it's very easy to spot it, you guys. Once I show you little tricks, you're going to be like, I get what she's saying. All right. I'm going to show you also how to make this mess because you know me, I love marketing to attract the right clients because you want clients that are going to come and be like, oh my God, I know that you had so much chaos. Can you help us with ours? You guys, setting this scene up of a sandwich shop because this is the only way that my brain works is in how to describe it to you as I go in to all the next steps of these layers of the shop. Why I tell you the secret sauce is like the key, the golden, like your golden key. That's like going to open up the kingdom for you to every client. And it's not just clients that are in your neighborhood. It's the clients that are in the neighborhood 3 over or 1 county over. It's because you're showing up with all the right people. Sphere of influence. So I talk about, let's talk about the real estate shop. Here, I'll make it bigger. I'm just painting a picture for you guys. When you get a family that walks into a sandwich shop, and I'm just painting the picture, everybody wants something different. You have all these different people. Now, let's switch it. It's parents that they're walking into your sandwich shop for. Totally different. You're now an aging shop, not putting together a turkey sandwich technically. One of them's going to be like, I need that house sold. I want the money right now. Because there's always one of those. That's one of those kids. You always have that kid who's like, all about the money. I need to make sure we got top dollar. If I got a penny that's going to go here, I want it accounted for. It's like the accountant types, the ones that are very like have to control a situation all the way through. There's there's not many types of personalities, and if you're a sales agent, you understand that there's those various types. That's why I say it's not a one size fits all. You're going to need your sphere of influence, three of this and three of that. One's going to be mild, one's going to be medium, and the next is going to be spicy because you're going to need those types of people for whoever you're dealing with. But the point is that these types of people that are going to come into that shop of yours for their home, for helping their parent get to an assisted living community, they all are going to need something from you, period. I don't care what it is. It's a family dynamics. Again, you could have parents who are totally there, but the kids are like having a say in it. There's something underlying. So I want you to know that your job is to hold the meat, cheese, and sauce. That's what your job is to figure out. Your job to figure out is what's the meat of the problem. Let's slap some of that, like cheese and lettuce and whatever else to make it a garden, if that's what you want to call it, party on your hamburger or not a hamburger, on your sandwich. And then give it your secret sauce of the people that you need to bring in. Your job is basically to take their order, figure out who's the player of the game, where you really need to go, and what's going on with the sandwich. Is the parent being bullied or being harassed, or because there are kids who are there to make their parents sell a house because they have a drug habit and the parent will go to sell the house. And if you feel like that parent may have there might be issues, don't be afraid to say something to a social care worker, somebody that remember, you have to be really close in your community to call on those favors and say, I'm really worried about this guy. I want to pick them up, but this is what's going on. You're protecting somebody, but again, you can't overstep your boundaries, but think about that. Think about protecting somebody that you have known you're a neighbor, because most of us, it happens to that neighbor of ours. It happens to be somebody that we are like this with. It's not somebody we just meet. It's somebody that we're like that with, that we feel the need. When you have that friendship with them, don't feel like that's overstepping. Feel like you're stepping in to help them, protect them, in that way. Other than that, don't overstep those boundaries. Bring in experts to do all the rest of the stuff. That's why you have secret sauce. When it comes personal, like I said, it's hard. It really is. But you got to remember, you have to keep your distance. And here's why, okay? You don't want to toss back at you. All right. So when you meet the family, you got to think that you have not just one client, but you have six. You've got siblings, spouses, adult, whatever it is. Take your pick. Any one of them. Could be grandkids. It could be whatever it is. You've got people that are all involved. Typically, there's an attorney. If the house is not in a trust, please urge them to put it in a trust before anything happens. That's hard, but I wholeheartedly believe in it. You got to look into probate because it's shitty. It really is. It's a long process. It's horrible. It's detrimental on families. And a lot of it, probate and all that, it could all be avoided if people only were educated. That's the part that you guys need to help with. That's the part we're missing. So your job, your sole job is to understand who's really paying the bill. Really, who's actually getting to decide what the hell is going on here? Because if you spin your wheels for everybody, and I know there's a few of you on this call that do that, you're never going to get anywhere. So figure out who the decision maker is. This is why you want trust attorneys in your back pocket. Whether you're feeding them clients or they're feeding you clients, doesn't matter. I'm just saying trust attorneys are a big pivotal part in this transaction because if it isn't a trust, great. Then that trust spells out all the ways, who does it, who does what, and then you need it. You need a copy of it to make sure that that everything's kosher. Make sure that you are labeling people and you know who's who. And the reason why I say that is because you will go back, and I've done this. I have like this kind of dot system. When I get annoyed with people, I put a black dot when I know that they aren't. It's not that they're blacklisted. It's they've made threats. I've already seen their personality. I already see the player of the game within the thing, and I know that they are a key pivotal part of this. I, I owe nothing to that person in a transaction. Am I correct? Right? So, what's the end game for whoever is selling that house, whether it's the trust attorney, whoever, the adult kids. Now, is it the adult kids and they're all doing this? God bless you. But there are people to bring in. This is why you got your sphere of influence. Trust me. That's where your trust attorney comes in. Because the person that put that trust together, ooh, sorry. Oops. Here we go. Because that trust attorney is the person that is going to oversee if there is issues and problems. You know, typically they're local. So that's why you want to know the players of the game. You want to know those people. All right, let's talk about the landmines. Oh, now I will tell you that if you get yelled at, and I will love you guys so much, but I will tell you the amount of times that you will get yelled at by somebody, it is not you. Okay, I need you guys to understand that. You are doing your job, and your job is to the person who is overseeing the selling of the home. And maybe it's out of the reach of the children, and there's an emotional tie to that home. Okay. Or there's unrealistic sue over here on the pricing, but the attorney was like, no, I have final say if there's a problem. This is why you guys need some kind of trust agreement or whatever happens. Don't spin your wheels. Stop and say trust agreement. Okay. But let's get through it. You've got grief, whether it's somebody that's passed out of the house. When you're going through that, it takes them a long time to get rid of stuff in the house. Pull in a senior move manager. If we've got a senior move manager on this call, great. Chime in. I'd love to hear from you guys. But this is where a senior move manager is great to bring in because they're really helpful in helping with the possessions of a home and that emotional side of it. So then you've got the next side. You've got the parent who all of a sudden is like, needs to move out of the house. Okay, remember the guilt. Okay, needs to move out of the house and into an assisted living community, but needs to sell their home in order to afford the assisted living community. They've already been, oh, by the way, the parents already gone in. So that's not a problem because they put a bunch of savings down on that. And now they just need to get the sale of the home here to cover the rest of it there. And that's not a problem. It's easy to do because it's like coming up with first month's, last month's rent kind of a thing. Sometimes there's a buy-in. You'll learn about all that. But the point is, that's a huge thing back and forth. Which reminds me, hate to go off on a tangent. I don't often, but those of you that have already completed your certification, you will be getting an email from Senior Placement Academy. You will be having a roundtable with him. They want feedback from you, and then the next round of people that graduate, they want to get a round table with you. And so they want a round table with you guys. They want feedback. I talk to them. That was another thing I'm supposed to mention. Forgive me. Okay, back to today's lesson. You have a lot of sibling rivalries in this. The dynamics you have to understand are from a childhood stance. It's nothing to do with you. But what you see in their behavior now was probably what you saw, what they were like when they were children and the way things were dealt with and handled. Now, with that being said, their parents or our parents didn't have the tools. They came from the silent generation or were raised by the silent generation, which means feelings were stuffed. You couldn't have feelings. You didn't talk. It was leave it to Beaver. There were no feelings. Everybody was happy. It was a sunshiny day. But that's not realistic. Think about that. So you have rivalry stems from childhood, and that's a big issue. And then you've got your drug addict kind of siblings things. You've got other things thrown in there, but typically it's a big childhood thing that still has that rivalry going later on in life. And it's sad because the parents who unfortunately didn't have the tools and the trade, they didn't have therapists. That wasn't big back then. It was more psychiatrists. And you're in a loony bin. Not loony bin, but like you were locked up. It was sad. When you're looking at the 40s and 50s. That kind of sucked. You didn't have like, hey, I need to go see somebody because I don't know how to deal with this with my child. I mean, it's just parenting 101. That's all. And it sucked. I'm sure back in the 50s, 60s, and somewhat in the 70s, depending on, that era that they grew up in. But anyway, that's what I have found, dealing with families. But the other thing is you got unrealistic Sue who wants Zillow says yada yada. But let me tell you, that family home has the cloth wiring or the old stuff from the 40s and 50s, and it's not like $5 million home down the street. We all have that. It doesn't matter. I kind of feel like it doesn't matter what type of a buyer or seller you insert into it, you're going to still have those same things. It's just the landmine of who's who when you're dealing with a sale. It's not like a cutthroat thing like we would typically deal with in a sale of a home. That's all. Anyways, and then you have unspoken fears. You got to remember that those unspoken fears down there are what if they are cognitive and they are able to make choices, but they're not sure what choice. Come in and bring them the stuff that they need to make that choice. That's your job. Assisted living communities, 55 communities, active adult communities, whatever it is for the next step. That's why I said we have the next step, you guys. Now, this certification's that step. All right, so your secret sauce. Oops. Oops. Oh my God. All right. So let's talk about your secret sauce, you guys. Okay. Your secret sauce is actually to diffuse the sandwich, the whole, like when they come in with all of these problems into your sandwich shop, remember that whole talk that I gave you at the beginning, painting that picture for you and saying, oh, look at this. And we have the sandwich shop. You're the meat, you're the cheese, and you're the sauce, right? Now, you have figured out the person who is going to make the choices. You figured out the person who's the decision maker for selling that home and where that parent is going to go or whatever's going to happen, right? You want to make sure if there's an attorney involved, because typically if it is a trust, they will make sure that the attorney comes in on it And whoever is the decision maker, they'll want everybody on that same, whatever it is. The point of this is once you understand who those people are, and now that's the time that is your time to shine. You diffuse the whole situation from the start. You go, okay, you'll make sure that everybody's heard what the issues are, what's going on, what's working, what's not, whatever it is. You can ask whatever the magic question is. When you are done with this, you will make sure in an email you summarize everything. After you summarize everything, you're going to ask, is there anything that needs to be clarified or can I answer any questions? And if they need something from you, I'll get back to it. That's it. Very easy. But when you ask magic questions, let's say they're still in the home. You can look at them and say, what's working for you in this home? Remember, I've told you guys that before. A lot of real estate agents go in and I don't, they try making a sale out of it rather than being like, I know this person doesn't want to move out of here or they have these emotional ties. How can I help them? Take those emotional ties that they have. What's their pain point? And let me help them over here. Remember, over here, I told you that there were pain points. Even those are landmines, they're pain points. Those are pain points for, is it grief? Did they lose somebody? Is it guilt? Do the kids feel bad that they've sent mom to the assisted living? Is it sibling rivalry? Is one wanting to sell the house, but the other one doesn't? Remember those family dynamics? Who can actually sell the house? And is that person even aware of this house wanting to be sold? Like, is it something that all the siblings have to come to an agreement on? That's why you want that trust agreement and see who the attorney is. But then you have those fears. When you get to this over here and that magic question, and you're asking, is this home working for you? And they're still in the home. That's where that comes in. And it's easy. That's how you connect it. What are your fears? I see everything, but what worries you here? Is it the stairs? Is it this? You should already know because I talk a lot about as an aging and play specialist, I've brought that here. There are a couple things that we need in our homes in order to make them safe for older adults. And let me tell you, it's less than 5% of our nation's housing units that actually have it. And if you haven't heard me talk about it, you should probably go check one out, one of the videos, because I'm not going to go into it now. The point of this is I want you to ask the questions positively. Okay? If it's an attorney, what does a win look like for you? You want your attorney to have the least amount of stress of the family blowing up that man's phone or woman's phone as the attorney. Doesn't matter. You don't want that phone being blown up on an attorney or on somebody else. You're like, oh, you know what? I've got services for that. You're not taking it on yourself. You're not taking on that stress. You're just going to let that emotion happen and be like, not in the middle of negotiations, that shit's not going down. And you're going to blow it off to the move manager. You're going to blow it off to, is it a legal question? Well, then that goes back to the attorney. So think about that. Think about where that emotion's coming from. Let it happen. Has nothing to do with you. Unless you screwed up, then own it. Own it if you screwed up. Don't fake it. Then own up to it. But the point is, do everything you can to bring in resources so it doesn't blow up in the middle of negotiations. This is so typical of what will happen in a negotiation specifically for this, because then they get to it and they're like, holy shit, I didn't realize that person was the decision maker. Cheers to that one if you're in that thing. Yeah, I mean, and you also have to realize, is somebody cognitively able to make a transaction happen Don't be afraid to speak up and say, hey, I noticed that your house is in a trust. Do your homework, guys. Don't be dumb, but do your homework. I'm not going to tell you how to go through a transaction. We all know how to go through transactions. If you don't and you're wondering about paperwork, your state brokers, doesn't matter where you are in the US, state brokers, even in Canada, wherever, every week you have contract classes. Go attend them. But the point is when we're dealing with emotions, we're dealing with all the stuff. This is it. Now, let's as I bring this up. All right. I want you guys to listen and watch what happens, especially in family dynamics. I'm really good at reading a room, but let me tell you, typically when there is an issue with something, you will get somebody talking, but you'll get side comments over there. I'm just saying this is very typical of like I don't know, I don't know. I've always noticed it for me, but psychologically, you'll be watching this person and off the side, you're going to see those people talking and you're going to wonder what they're talking about. That little person that's like, hey, those people talking, wonder what they're saying over there. There's a reason why they're saying something. Now perk up and just watch what their issues are, or what they're saying, or what they're not saying, or what they're leaving out. Just kind of like follow those people and see what they say. Again, go back to don't let that shit come to you. Like the emotions. If they're talking and that's their emotional shit going on, then no, they're drama queens. Does that make sense? You got to know the players of the game, but most importantly, don't spin your wheels. And I say that because if you know that that's the drama queens, let it go to voicemail. Let it blow up your phone. Let it blow up everybody's phone because they don't matter when it comes to the transaction, when it comes to getting them into the assisted living community. What's best for the person at heart? That's who you're serving. That's it. All right. So I want you, listen, this is important. I need you to create a roadmap when you are dealing with a transaction. It's a timeline. I say this because when you are dealing with high emotions, passing, trying to get the move manager to get stuff out on time, whatever it is, you got to buffer in stuff that's going to happen, disagreements, whatever it is, emotional detour, you'll see it. Without a roadmap and in writing, you guys, someone's going to rewrite that shit. Telling you halfway through, and it's going to derail something. It's going to derail it. So please don't. Please make sure that you have it in writing, whether it is over email, whether it is text and it's being tracked. Make sure that it has happened and that you have this roadmap. I would say back up. Make sure that that roadmap is emailed and everybody signs with a receipt. Just say, hey, just making sure everybody has this, roadmap that I put together. Let me know if you've got any questions, but please respond so I know you've received this. That way, if anything happens, you're like, here you go. This is what you said. So remember that. Now, let's talk about secret sauce. Because that's your sphere of influence, you guys. That's literally your sphere of influence. Your secret sauce is going to help you with this roadmap. These people are going to help you move everything along in a deal, whether it's the trust attorney, whether it is whether it's the adult daughter making the decision, whether it's whatever, doesn't matter who it is. Just know that secret sauce. Those people are going to be the people that are going to help you. You got drama, you got shit going on. Those are the people that are going to help you through it that you don't have to. The move manager, all of it. You don't want to do senior placement, then find somebody with senior placement, but that's where you bring them in. You bring in somebody that does because a big part of this is a lot of families are like, "Oh, I don't want that crap." Then you've got to bring in people who are not only junk removal, but we don't want to call them that because people don't want to think that their stuff is junk or their parents' stuff might have been junk. But a lot of the time you've got to bring in auctioneers. It's a big thing. And auction off because the family wants proceeds from that house. And then they're money driven. Remember, it's your job to understand who's who and who's the player. Remember the girls that were talking over there that you noticed at her side eye? Maybe they just want all the money. Maybe they're the bitches, excuse my language, that are like, I want mom's money. You better get a sale of this house. I'm the one that wants the highest amount of the money. I want to make sure that everything sells for more than it's worth. I'm the one that wants the garage sale every weekend to get rid of everything dollar by dollar, but I'm not going to work it. I'm not going to do anything, but I'm going to tell you how to do your job. And by the way, I don't get a say in selling this house. That's like one of those people. Sorry. That's that person. All right. Anyways, getting off. Here's the thing. You guys don't understand how many great marketing moments you can do without even exploiting any family members. It's fascinating at like how many ways you can go about this. You can go funny, like, and make like a parody out of it. You can go into it like as an educational moment about like how something helps somebody or here's what no one tells you kind of a way about selling your parents' home and go through the emotional toll of what a family did, but without giving the family away. Um, you can share processes and tips for families. You don't have to use names. But you could talk about it. I sit here and I give you a prompt. I said, ever had a family meeting turn into a real estate debate? Here's how I keep the peace. You know, there's so many ways you could go about this. You could do a parody. You could do, I mean, I could see this in so many various ways, depending on your personality. I come from an educational personality just because that's me, that's what I resonate with. But if you had a funny comedic backside to this and you had a team, that would be a great one to do. And the reason why I say that is you can talk about your move manager and then put in what they do. You can talk about your trust attorney and have like little photos of him, shuffling paperwork really fast or something like this and stamping stuff really fast trying to get it through to court. Whatever it is, kind of thing, and like put their names and highlight them. I don't know. I could just see fun stuff going out of that. But the point is that you want to make sure that you highlight what you're doing so everybody can understand that your job of turning chaos, because it is chaos and a mess, into highlights and moments, whether they're educational, whether they're funny, whether they're personal. We all have something we resonate with. No different than TikTok. All of us have a different algorithm on a social media that we see, and it's because those are the things that we resonate most, whether it's storytelling of something, whether it's cats, dogs, and animals, whether it's art and blah blah blah, whether it's only houses, whether it's only coaching, whatever. The point is your algorithm knows what you're watching. And I say that because when you hit an algorithm in something in this, it it hits. So when I talk about that example post of a trust attorney and you hashtag a trust attorney, and all of a sudden you hashtag somebody that is, a senior move manager, and you tag senior move managers, and you tag very specific words, your algorithm's now hitting various markets. And plus, they're sharing your videos on theirs. So it's kind of cool. But anyways, um, I'm going to encourage you when you're done with the call, because I do this all the time, and I'm going to see right now, I'd be curious. I'm not even going to look at my phone, but I would probably say I have over probably over 1,500 notes, notes on my phone. I say that because I save my content right after a call. I save whatever, just my thought and my process right after my call. And I put it in my notes section. And here's the thing. Oh, not as many as I thought. Okay, it's really 900, it's 917 plus 902. Okay, so I kind of actually was erring on the shorter side. I thought it was more like 3,000, but okay. Anyways, but that's a lot of notes of like ideas and things that that I'm thinking of. And I mean, things that I've already done, I could delete them. But if you don't put the content down, whether it's a sentence, a couple sentences, but it's something that sticks in your mind, doesn't have to get done right now. At least you know when you're done, you can go back to it, look at it, and be like, I knew that was great content. Just putting it in the back of your mind. All right. Here's some common pitfalls that I have personally seen myself, not personally me getting involved. Um, but it was very difficult for me to navigate on a personal level. I was dealing with my best friend's father, who, God love the man, I've known my entire life. Um, and I'm not going to even give away anything, but anyway, I didn't want to take sides, whether it was for my best friend or it wasn't for the father, it was for something that the father said in an email, and it was like maybe misconstrued or mistaken. And the bottom line was, I said, I just can't take sides. I know she's my one of my best friends. I did not overstep boundaries. We still are best friends today. It did not ruin it. It didn't ruin the deal. But no matter what happens, whether it is personal, and we all know that personal, it's very easy to take sides. Do not take sides. And if it's too personal, you've got to bring in somebody else from the office. You got to bring in another agent to help you navigate it to close. I brought in another agent on this deal. That's all. I did. I brought in another agent as a backup piece, somebody that was like that was a higher agent than myself, that I was like, okay, they know this person too. I know that they like, know, and trust them too. I'm gonna bring in this person so she'll feel more comfortable and understand, and her husband and her dad can understand what they're saying wasn't gonna happen with this. In order to get the deal closed, it was great. It worked out fine. Everything I was talking about, all of the issues that they were coming to the table was then understood. But sometimes it's just a different strokes for different folks. And the way that the content and information is given, they think you're taking sides. It's not about that. It's about the way that um, the information's given. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Over promising. Don't stick to that guideline that you put. Stick to everything. Don't promise anything. This is why, by the way, I have you putting a roadmap together. Again, it holds you accountable for not doing more than you have to do. Does that make sense? Because the last thing that we want to do is continuously do. And by the time we know that we're doing, that commission wasn't even worth it. And that's not what this is about. It's not about a commission, but it's also not about constantly overdoing, and it just like extending yourself, making promises that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I got to do that. And I don't even know what I got myself into. And you're Googling it the night before to figure it out. If you haven't done it, partner up with somebody who has. It's not easy. Very easy to do. That's easy. But anyway, uh don't let your stress show. There you go. Please, 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 for all of the love of sake of God, please, I need you guys to keep documenting everything. I say that because, and it's not just this day and age. I say that because if something were to go down and something were to be questioned, misconstrued, and I say this because the taking sides, I had everything outlined in emails. His daughter and son-in-law weren't on those emails because they're not the seller of the houses. There was a couple houses. They weren't the sellers. They weren't even on the contract. They weren't even on the LLC. They weren't even on any of it. So I didn't think that there was a reason for them to be. But anyways, um, neither here nor there. But the point is that having conversations documented and saying, see here, let me show you. This is why. That roadmap is going to keep you on par with your conversations. It's going to keep you from going that way, sideways, and overpromising something that you don't have on that roadmap. If you've got a clear guideline and you've laid it out for them, everyone's acknowledged it, boom, 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 then you know that when conversations come, you can refer to the roadmap and is it on the roadmap? Does it need to be on the roadmap? The roadmap is tweaked, but let me tell you, the roadmap is, hey, we're getting from listing the house or placing them into assisted living communities to helping you sell the house. Everything between there. Is it home health care? I got you. Is it whatever? I got you too. And then it's the next step, prepping the house. And then it's to sell. So anyway, cheers to all of you. Um, this is how I've done things. Again, I always tell you your job isn't to sell the house. I feel like you're managing, you're a family through the hardest thing. Some of us on this have been through it. If you haven't, you may end up going through it before you even know it. But the point is, nobody ever thinks they're going to face it. They think that they're all alone. And somehow you just want to make sure, as a person who is involved in this transaction, that everyone is going to walk away having a little piece of that sandwich. And I mean peace, like a piece, like just be at peace with whatever the situation may be. That's all you can do. That's it. That's how that's the only way I can talk to you about it. The girls can pop it into the chat box for you. Um, and you guys will be able to have it. But I really look at this as, again, the sandwich shop back to like, hey, hmm, it's sad. It really is the dynamics, the trajectory of the way, and this is what's upsetting is the trajectory of a deal like spiraling because of one person. Bleep. Sorry. Sorry for those who don't like those things, but really, there's always that one. So if you know up front, you don't have to get to that whole like trajectory. Please don't. Don't learn the hard way. I did very, very early on in my career. Really early on in my career, but it's a learning pivot that I did. But the point is, honestly, you really got to look at who's the seller. And if it's in an LLC or if it's in a trust, if whatever, you need a copy of that. Because that's your contract. You're going to need to know that anyways. Again, I'm not going to go through your contracts. You got state brokers who do that every week with you guys. I am just bringing you to that point of what it looks like on not just an emotional level, but what you're going to need to show up with as the sandwich shop. You're the meat, the cheese. I hope I explained it okay, because that's how I look at you guys. Meat, cheese, and then, the fixins. But the secret sauce is what comes down to it. Your job is to look at the players of the game. look at who the decision maker is legally, and that's who the person is. Now, if that person has cognitive issues, it is your job legally as a real estate agent to not get into a deal with that and to be able to alert the next whatever it is. Figure out, is there a trust? Go to that trust attorney, whatever. Go do your due diligence and help out. Or go to an attorney that you know and be like, oh, he's trying to get into a deal. I'm really afraid. What do I do? They'll have people for you. But this is why you got a secret sauce, because you guys all use each other. And trust me, those deals between each other in your secret in your sphere of influence, aka secret sauce, those deals are huge. It's not one deal. It's many deals. Because here's the thing, you've got the local sandwich shop. You've got the person who has all the right tools for their adult homeowner. And guess what? You don't deal with the dynamics. That trust attorney isn't getting bombarded with phone calls because of all these questions. No, here's the roadmap. Boom, I gave it to you. We're all on the same page. Trust attorney has it. We all are on it. Please see, this. Trust attorney could deal with it if he wants to, but stick to the roadmap, stick to the person who's dealing, know the players of the game, know how to deal with them, but know that it's not your drama and don't get involved with drama, and bring in the right people if there is drama that needs to be dealt with. Meaning, and I don't mean drama in the sense of like issue. Well, I mean issues like a lot of it comes down to the belongings in the house. Selling. How are they going to sell? Who's going to sell? Who gets what? I cannot tell you the amount of times I have seen families go at it when it comes to belongings. And let me tell you, um, Matt, does anybody know who Matt Paxton is here? If you do, please. Okay, Matt's, he's a good friend of mine. I love Matt. And before Matt really became Matt Paxton, he would always talk about how the fights would happen and he would watch it and he was like, they'd end up like getting rid of it anyways. And he's right. He could not be any more right. It is ridiculous. They fight over all of this. And that's where he came up with like kind of like, it's like lose the stuff, something, but keep the memories, lose the ship, but keep the memories. The the emotional toll it takes, whether it's a parent who wants you to take it, who's been holding it on for generations, and who's like, no, you need this china set that's like 150 years old, and you're like, I got one for my wedding, I haven't even used, and that was like 30 years ago. Why? Yeah, okay. And your wife won't even let you get rid of that one. Or, I mean, it's like, where are you? When you look at the generations right now, it's minimalists. Everybody's kind of like, oh, we're getting rid of shit. We're like IKEA generation now. My daughter, she's all like, oh, that's too much, mom. I don't want that in my apartment. I'm like, okay. But it really is. It is, they don't want your stuff. And again, I love my mother, but there is a family joke, and I hope that my siblings don't watch this. But actually, my siblings, if they watch this, they'll laugh. I hope that my parents never see this because there's this joke. My parents have this elephant that sits like near their front door. I one day will take a picture of it and I'll post it because you'll laugh. They had this elephant and it sits and they would put stuff on top of it that would go home with you every time you came to their house. Imagine going to your parents' house once a week and they always had shit for you because they're always purging. It's like, regifting, but regifting the regifting to regift to you. It's the only way I can describe it. Is the way my mom does it. And then my sister and I laugh, but I don't want it. Like I got my own, so, and I'm not going to regift after it's been regifted 5 times. There's a reason why that's been regifted 5 times and it's sitting for 99 cents on a rack somewhere. That's my feeling. So that's just me. And that's what's happening when it comes to
You have to quit describing me, okay? Just quit describing me.
But it's an emotional thing.
You're
And
killing
that's,
me.
well, I hope I'm killing everyone else. But that's the emotional part of like where we hold on, where I've seen it in my brain. And it's really hard to I mean, it's easy for me to navigate because it's not emotionally involving, but it's hard when it's like me personally. I sit back and I'm like, oh, my mom's one of those. Oh, she's one of those. Because now I see the type of personality she is now that like I've dealt with, people as they age, and I'm like, oh, my mom, she's so cute though. Anyways, all right. Please, I am gonna open it up. I'd love to hear shared in the file. Okay. So if you were late to the party, cheers. I'm Heather. Welcome. I'm on a roll, obviously. No, we put in the chat box. Actually, I've got Kim and Dawn on it. We put in the chat box some great stuff. There also is, and I know there's a lot of people that are late, so I'm just going to quickly share it for you guys, for those that are late. EXP came out with National Senior Placement, like this guide for us to follow. And it, by the way, it does entail compliance questions. We all are having compliance questions about how we are going to use this certification. This is 20, I'm not going over right now. It's getting late. 22. Okay, please, 22. If you want to know about EXP revenue share, it's talks about no, it's not a revenue share structure. It talks about branding. It talks about promotion on social media and recruiting. What about that recruiting there, you guys? How about EXP Seniors Network is the largest network in the entire real estate industry? How's that one for recruiting? How about the placement? How does the placement go down? What does it look like? Where is it available? What does it cover? All of that stuff, you guys, is there. Like the most asked questions that I myself have been getting, corporate's been getting. If you do have questions, please email compliance with all of those questions because we are beta. I'm going to say it again and again. Seniors Network is the beta tester. It has not gone company wide. Just know that, you guys. This isn't company wide. Um, the only people that got the email was all of the people in the United States that are a part of EXP Seniors Network. With that being said, all of you guys have the opportunity until it actually goes live to the rest of the community, and then the price jumps to like whatever you guys saw. You guys have it for it's at 990 or something, but then it's slashed, right? Yeah, somebody, anybody? Something. Anyways, I don't know, but just so you know, that slashed price is when it does go live, that's the price that it's going to be. It's not going to be slashed anymore. So that's number one. The second thing that I do want to say is beta testing means this is going to be tweaked before it goes company wide. So if you see problems and issues, even if it's in your own state, even if it's within your own area, make sure the corporate knows about it so they can add it to this doc and make and update it on a monthly, but whatever, monthly basis, whatever it is. Legal team will constantly update this until it actually gets rolled out to company. Again, if it gets rolled out to the company, it depends on this beta testing and how you guys feel about it. And if it's working for you, the point is put yourself out there and then it comes rolling in. Very easy. Really, it really is. Um, Become that person that people understand and know when it comes to education. What's the most asked questions? Think about them. Actually, do you remember last week I told you I was going to do a video about something? What was it that I was doing a video about? Do you remember? Anybody? No? No. I told you guys I was gonna do a TikTok video and I said, oh, I wonder how many views that was gonna get. Can't remember what it was. Anyway, um, I've had a bunch go crazy. Like one of them, I was laying in bed, and again, garage. But the point is that even assisted living communities, the education's needed. The next step. There are so many comments about, I don't know where to start. And that sucks. And you know, the best part is every single person on this call knows exactly where to start in their community. And you just have to put it on social media. You just have to highlight the assisted living community that you love and the people that are part of that assisted living community and what it has to offer and highlight it and see, want to come see it? I'm hosting something or come, come check, come visit me. I don't know. Um, host an open house there. How cool would that be? I mean, it'd be kind of cool and play a game. Drinks, everybody loves drinks, coffee cart, I don't know, but the community typically will help you put something on. They want people to come in. But again, you should really market things on social media because nobody's doing no one is. The stuff that I do see for the assisted communities is like really cute ones. Do you guys remember? I think I actually put it on on Facebook and on Workplace. But do you guys remember this whole thing where there's like a kid and there's like 30 people rowing and there's a kid that's dancing to this music or something? There was an assisted living community that did this, but they were singing row, row, row your boat. And it was really, really cute. And one of the caretakers was like at the front rowing. It was really cute, but go do stuff. Go talk about it. I totally just missed that, Daphne Miller. Okay, so quick question for you guys. What do you think is the most asked questions when it comes to like parents being at home, like older adults being at home? Maybe not necessarily just parents, but aging adults. $4. What did I say? $4? Did I say $4? I don't think I said $4. Um, anyways, do you say what do you guys think? Anybody? Anybody want to Google it? Anybody want to chat GPT it? Give me the top three. I'd love to hear. Because typically when you're talking about aging parents, repeat the question, please. Okay, the question is, what are the top questions that people will like need to know about aging parents? I'd be curious to see if this one thing comes up. Does anybody know? Like, can somebody Google it? I'm not going to do it. I just would prefer someone else to do it for me, please. Or ChatGPT, not ChatGPT. I'd prefer the are government benefits available? Ooh, that's a good one. I actually did one about ship and stuff. Oh, 400 and something? I don't remember the 400 and something. No, I said 900. I said it was 900 and it's going to like 1500 or 1400 and something. I think it's like you have to look at what it is. I know what you're asking about. The certification program for beta testing is who took the course already or who paid for it? Please, could somebody put it in there? 900 and something, 995. That is for the beta. After the beta testing, there's a price that's slashed in there. Did you see the price? Anyways, that price is gonna jump. Just saying. It's gonna jump. So, anyways, letting you know. After beta testing. Now, back to what was I saying? Oh, questions. Questions. Here we go. So, Medicare, Medicaid, what's the best care option? Okay, let you guys speak my love language. All right, thank you, Dawn. Dawn, can you Can you read it for me so I can talk to you? It's just easier for me to do it that rather than read it from there.
The top three questions people commonly ask about aging, and it says, how do I know if my parents need help or can no longer live safely on their
Yeah.
own?
Just ask the questions. I see there's
Yep.
one written,
What
yeah.
are the best care options and how do I choose between them? And how do we pay for senior care without draining savings?
Okay, you guys, do you guys not see that that was, did you put it in Google?
I put it in chat.
Yeah, in chat. Okay. Someone put it in Google? I'd be curious what Ted Luna, can you put it in Google and see what we and see what it says? Because there's this one thing, and I get it in Google often, and I want to know if it actually gets, if it goes in there. What's the one thing that we ask about aging or aging parents? And let's see what it says. So there has been this one thing that I have been seeing quite often come up on Google, and it actually came up on ChatGPT for me. Ted's, I think, some whoever it is, if Google, but let me just tell you, the this it's called the 40/70 rule. I had never heard of it in my career. I mean, when I say my career, I've been 10 years in this, maybe 12 years. I had never heard of this 40/70 rule. There is this push. Well, let me go back. Colonel Colin Powell talked about um, this 40% versus and 70%. And he came up with this theory. And the theory actually is pretty good when it comes to making decisions and talking about things. And when you're in battle, believe it or not, when you're in a crisis. And typically, when you're 40 and your parents are 70, is when you should start having those really hard conversations about those steps, assisted living communities, and all of that, because that's when the crisis occurs. And that's when the crisis happens with the slip and the fall, the statistics of it. When I say crisis, I refer to the word statistics. Now, let's go back to when you put it into ChatGPT, those questions are massive. And the reason why those questions are massive is because nobody understands who, what, where, when, how, why, meaning who is going to help me navigate this? That's going to start off. And I'm going back to basic elementary school because that's my background, elementary school. That's where I started my teaching. Who, right? Who's who's the player of the game, but the who. Then you have the what, like who's going to help me? Who's going to help me through this mess? What is the mess? What are we going through? Then you've got the who, what, where. Where are we going to go from here? That's where your action plan comes in. The where, what, like the steps. The when, let's have that timeline. Now, when you're dealing with a lot of that stuff, you got to buffer in because we're dealing with a lot of caveats here. It could be a passing, it could be a lot of stuff in the house. So you have to buffer in extra amount of time. Remember that when you're making that. But and then the whys. That's what you get. Boom. All of it. Everybody's going to be asking those questions, and that's where that sauce comes in. But when you have the who, what, where, when, why, and you come to social media with that, in a comedic way, in an educational way, whatever way rocks your boat, all the more better because you're educating them. Again, let's go back to like the how do I know if my parent needs longer to live safely at home? Okay, I've done that video. So best care options. That's huge. Imagine walking into okay, your communities that you love and like, and that you know the peeps, and you're like, hey, I want to do a little social media piece. I won't show people. Don't worry. I'm just going to show maybe backs of heads, whatever it is, because you don't want to get people in there. But you can talk about independent versus assisted living versus memory and do like a little take on it, like maybe Star Wars style. I don't really know, like Golden Girl style. Who knows? But the point is There's so many ways to go about this to answer people's questions, most asked questions. Then talk about paying. That's probably one of the videos that I have that's liked the most. It is a landmine. And after taking, not, I mean, I knew about this landmine because I've been placing people before I took the course, but I didn't know a lot of the stuff until I actually finished the course. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that. I didn't know I had to do that. It was trial and error and it sucked. I mean, that's just the way I learn, but I don't want to learn that way. Just letting you know. But there are things that I did learn from there that I was like, oh, that's great idea. I didn't know that. And unless I did trial or error and somebody told me about it, I wouldn't know. But anyway, that's big because people want to know how's that getting paid for. And that basically how people's getting paid for selling their house. That's what you guys don't understand. The statistics of them paying for that. Think about it. It's a major concern. It's a pain point, you guys. That's huge. So think about like how you can put videos together. Think about how you can put them into a reel and also use your sphere of influence to make you look even better. Last week we went through Cialdini, and what I said to you guys was, hey, here is the reciprocity blueprint. How easy and safe and creative is this? And bam, that reciprocity, who, I'm sure all of you guys were here, but basically that reciprocity blueprint is huge. Really. That reciprocity blueprint, okay, it's fascinating to navigate. I don't even know how to describe it. The when you serve with your hand up and not out, because that's what I've always talked about, people feel indebted to you. They feel like giving you. They feel like doing business with you. They feel like working with you. They feel like wanting to do something with you because you've brought them some type of peace to their mind and to their home life or to their chaotic life of some sort just by knowing all the right people. That's all. That's how I look at it. It's not your chaos. You're not owning it. You're just the matchmaker. Again, sandwich shop. But I love that those three questions came up. All right, so Dawn put a an article in the group chat about the coming of baby boomer. And it's fascinating. I can tell you right now that the older demographics is the biggest spender of the GDP. Um, there is a lot of transfer of wealth, but yet, if you don't know all of the ins and outs of your state, your county, and your area's rules and regulations, it's not going to help you. The reason why I say this is like, I know in California, we have a proposition that helps older adult homeowners when they want to right size, take the property tax value from one property to another. If they've had it over a certain amount of time, they're able to do that over a certain, if they're over a certain age. You've got certain, it's no one size fits all, but there are certain like tax exemptions that you will have that the next county may not have, but it's only to your county for seniors. I'm just saying, know that and gloat on that piece of power that you know. And then people are like, oh my God, I didn't know I could do this. Can you help me do this with my home? Or can you help me get my parent into this assisted living community? I saw that on your news feed. I was looking at that. That's all. You know, it's funny. I met a woman. I'm no short of talking to people, but here's what I want you guys to start doing when you are out in public and you are discussing and in conversation with people. and you tell them you're an aging specialist and they want to know more about what you do, and you're like, well, I help people with their parents when like a crisis happens. What does that mean? I'm like, well, do you need aging services? What do you need? I got you. Do you need like from stem to stern? What is it? Like, I got them all. But the point is that she was so upset because it took her months to find a senior living community. And she didn't realize that her mom needed, when she visited the first two, she didn't bring her mother. Then at the third one, she decided she was going to bring her mom. And that's when they said, you may need memory care, and we don't have memory care here. So 2 months goes by until she found something. And I said, oh, you could have just called somebody like myself who's certified to do this, and we do it for free. Like, you don't pay us. We get paid by assisted living community. And that's my connection with the assisted living community. It's no different than the connection I have with, like, apartment buildings or 55 living communities, and I bring in a tenant to move in there or a buyer to move into something. I'm going to get paid. It's still, in my way, it's still, you got to take them from the house. They got to move somewhere. And if you knew those next steps, then even kudos, she didn't have to go through all that. Imagine doing a video on how you can help somebody before a crisis happens. Oh, did you want to know about assisted living communities? I got you covered. And then do a whole series. Ted, Luna, I could see a good one for you. Well, like doing a series, honestly, pick something and be consistent in it. It goes back to the Cialdini method. I'm telling you guys, it fascinates me hold on, I'm gonna see if if I can pull up that. No, I don't know where it is. Okay. So, oh, here I have it. Um, oh, it's not that one. No. Anyways, if you talk about, is it this? No, that's the shaping of the market. Anyways, if you talk about you talk about influencing through trust. Here, I'm going to show it. This is what I taught last week. If you didn't see it, please go back and look at it. But the point is fast and easy. Here's Cialdini's method. Okay. He talks about reciprocity by giving free tips, assisted living communities. Ted Luna, I see your whole thing there. But going in and giving tips about assisted living communities, there you go. Great. Commitment, continuously do the commitment. Oh my gosh, did you know that this is here? This is here. And then get into those hot topics that she put in the chat box with Google or with ChatGPT about assisted living communities. Bust a myth. Do like a Mythbusters. Ooh, Ted Luna, that's what you could do, Mythbusters. Do an assisted living Mythbuster.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I see you and I see the space background and I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm thinking sci-fi and like kind of real kind of stuff like that. But assisted living Mythbuster, I don't know. It's kind of cool when you think about it because nobody's doing it on social media. It's no different than when we were out there as real estate agents doing different things. I remember in the 80s, there was this guy named in Los Angeles, his name was Mike Glickman. And every Halloween he came around with this big pump with a big truck that had pumpkins on the back. And he would pass out pumpkins to all of the kids in the neighborhood. And we'd all stand out there knowing he'd come. And he'd pass out a postcard. No different. You're just on social media. It's a different because this talks about the marketing and the styles of marketing and the generational. But when you go back to that social proof, you're going back to that testimonial. The testimonials come from those comments, those likes, and the people that are within the video, whether it be your trust attorney, whether it be somebody that's your secret sauce. Your authority is you talking about and showing up about this, giving them something before the crisis happens. This is where it connects with everything else I've taught you guys. Liking, I showed you, doesn't matter how you show up. You could show up messy and all and in a garage or in bed or whatever. People need you to show up with the information that they're looking for at that exact time. So if you feel like doing a video at midnight because you're stuck in bed and you have something on your mind, that's the best time to go do that. I'm not kidding. Go do it. Like, run with that. Have fun. Then you've got the scarcity. I ask you guys all the time, how many people do you guys actually see on social media talking about this? Nobody but myself. I'm not kidding. I tell you that all every week. I don't see a lot. I don't. I really don't. But I want to. I want to see all of you guys doing it. I do. Because I know how badly it's needed in your neighborhoods. I know how great it could be for your career. There you go. That's it. All right. Basically, we're done, you guys. Anyway, beta testing is scheduled to last. I'm going to see this. Beta testing is supposed to last, I think. What's the EXP Con? Can you guys know? Anybody?
It's like October 19th through the 23rd.
Yeah. So I'm thinking somewhere thereabouts for beta testing. I could be wrong. I'm going to say before, like somewhere before then, because I do know that the guys and I will be at EXP Con. So you'll see all of us. If you're going to EXP Con, we're going to do something there. And we'll do like a roundtable and a meet and greet and all that good stuff. And I'm like, want everybody to share stories. EXP, my hope is EXP is going to do like a big presentation out to Newswire and like all the other wires or Housing Wire on this launch that we're doing um like like company wide, but they need people to give feedback in order to like be able to put it out there. They have to have all their bells and whistles in place before it actually launches, because if it sucks, there's no reason in launching it. There's no reason in even saying it's, going to be scheduled. So, it's tentative to schedule then. If not, then you're going to see me. But it's my hope that whatever we want to get ironed out, it'll get ironed out, or, or whatever doesn't need to, it's great. But I don't know. I think, there's a few little things. There's going to be a round table for those on Monday that have already completed the course. If you've already graduated the course, you're going to get an email about having a live roundtable because they want feedback. So, Cheryl, please.
Yes, I just want to know, by chance, are you going to be designing brochures, or should we start designing our own brochure? Because with Canva, I'm just curious about
Good.
curious.
You know what? I think that's awesome. Um, that's interesting. I, I'm wondering, do they have brochures and can we piggyback off that? Here's my thing. I honestly am one of those people that doesn't want to recreate something if it's already recreated. So that's something that we can ask them if somebody's on a round table. And if Kim, you finished the course, right? Okay, you'll have the live round table. You can ask them about that because that would be great. If not, then let's mock something up for the group and use it. Like, why not mock something up so everybody can use it that's done it and you guys can all have it? That would be dumb not to have it, and we'll put it in a Google file for everybody.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
it'd be a collective thing. I don't really care. That's easy to do. And we just make one. I don't mind having a Canva file for everybody and you guys using it, but or you guys being able to get to it, and then you just plug in your information. I mean, if in your compliance stuff, because that would be another thing. Because I know in Texas, you guys have to write stuff. So once, I don't want to have to go to compliance and make sure I don't want to have to go to each state broker and ask. I want you guys to go to state brokers and ask. And once it's approved, then we can go ahead and upload it. California, boom, done. Texas, boom, done. And I'll have a file for each state. you've already gotten you've already gotten a screenshot uploaded, so we already have a screenshot with your state broker's blessing, and we don't have to rework anything. Wouldn't that be great, personally? Uh, yeah, no, yeah, I think, yeah. Forms and checklists. What is what is
I was just wondering if there was some that, this material that when we go out to find the business.
Oh, will it? No, because the forms and checklists are on the CRM, and that's stuff you guys have.
Okay.
Yeah, I would only, honestly, I would only have that because that is loaded from a CRM or from wherever else you're going to send it. I wouldn't. I would get each compliance for that because that's different. I don't know. I'm the only reason why I know what you're saying, but the only reason I say is I'm going to leave it to you is because those things are vastly different from state to state, and I think it's just easier to leave it that way. Um, but it would be good eventually. It would be nice if we could have all that. But let's start baby steps because I'm the only one managing this thing. And I am totally, and I don't want legally to get involved with that on the forms and compliance stuff. But when it comes to like just this, the like, like maybe a stagnant social media post and you guys can input stuff or whatever, maybe we could just have an overall thing and it makes it just much easier and we all have it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Heather,
Yeah.
can you share the influence with intentions PDF? Because and
I
you have a
can.
that you did from last week that you just shared.
Yes. So,
And do you have a method for sharing that stuff? Like
so,
I did not attend last
so
week's live.
no, here you're okay. Hold on. Let me just let me export this into a PDF really fast. Oh, okay. So here's what I want to say about that. One man show, and honestly, I have no idea influence with intention here. Oops. Give me 1 second. It's in there. Um, I don't want just anybody having access to it. It's so difficult to keep control. I so badly just needed to be EXP agents. And I know that not all EXP agents are on here. There's nothing I can do. I just can't. I try to keep as much as I can out, but like for the last 3 of the 7 years, I've been running this by myself and I show up every Thursday night. So I'm trying to do whatever I can. I would love to be able to take it to like a Kajabi platform. It'd be much better so I had more control. But it is it is a company group, and so I abide by rules and all of our thing. And that's what I signed up for when I started and we merged with them. So I don't mind it. I love it. We're, kicking butt and taking names. So
Well, I
um
certainly really appreciate all your efforts and hard work that you put into
mm,
everything. And I know it takes a lot of time, and
yeah.
God
But
bless you for it
thank
being a
you, thank
one-man
you.
show over there.
But I do it from my heart and I appreciate that, Don. I do, because you guys are all so thankful. But you know what my best part is when I ask Eric to chime in, and here's what thank you, Rochelle, for the love. But here's my best part because Eric always comes in with the great questions. He comes in with questions that everybody always has. So I'm gonna ask him because his hand's up. Oh, Eric.
I had to lower my hand. But so it was Brooks that asked about, I think it was that asked about forms, etc. There's a lot of those in the uh, Placement Academy,
Yeah,
and I don't know that you actually get them until you're completed.
right, right.
Brooks, I'm about halfway through it.
Yeah, that I do
Um,
know. You do not get those forms until you complete it. It's
you
just,
don't get nothing.
yeah. And it's easy to do it that way. It's really
Mhm.
easy to just not finish something. And let me tell you, it's not time consuming. It really isn't. It isn't like strenuous or crazy. There's a lot to intake, yes. However, I promise you I'm going to guide you.
Right. I had a couple more. The first one was, I think weeks ago when you first started talking about this, you had shared that, and I think you said that this would replace a state like here in Texas, we have a seniors real estate specialist, the SRES.
No, it's not going to replace.
Is there any, okay, so here's my
No, 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 no.
question.
So,
Is there
no, what I
really any
was
value in going through and doing that in addition?
So here is my take on letters, aka lots of acronyms after your name.
Mhm.
Nobody knows what they mean but us in the industry. That's number one. With that being said, the one and only thing that people look at is the SRES because they know it's attached to NAR. Does NAR have a good name right now? I'm not sure. Um, it is um it's outdated material. I'm not gonna lie, it is outdated material. Um, take it or leave it. I think there's better ways to spend your money on things that it's not all about the letters. It's about the education that you're getting from whatever you're doing,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Right.
You know,
The
I'm all about the
organization that we have here is really good, so it might be. So,
And right. And you know what? And if that's the case, go for it because
mm,
it's a tight-knit organization. I don't know where SRES is explosive and where it's not. I got my designation so many years ago. And I don't know, I never attended a meeting. I wouldn't even know where to look for a meeting. I just went my own route because nobody really does, I guess, what I do in a way that
very
I do.
good. Thank you. And
Okay.
good session.
Thanks. Cheryl.
I'm just going by what you just said for the SRIC. So their material is outdated because I get the newsletter, I guess, with
Do you know
supposedly news
there is,
information. I get that, but I haven't read through it yet. So I'm just
okay, let me tell you, they have a newsletter that they put out every year. It has probably, and I'm going to tell you the picture that's on it, you guys. And if you are an SRES designee person, you'll be like, oh my God, I've seen that photo. Okay, it's one photo. I'm going to just describe it. It's an older gentleman riding on a Harley. And it's like something about SRES or getting certified or something about it. I don't remember what it is. I don't remember if he's riding it, whatever it is. It's like something riding. I have to look it up. But it's the same photo that they put up there all the time. And I just think to myself, oh my God, it's going to be the same article. It's going to be the same this. And it's like frustrating. I don't see change, but you got to remember nobody's at NAR. So who's heading SRES? Just wondering. I'm just wondering. Um, who knows? Who knows? I just know that there's Facebook groups. I'm part of them, but I don't know who's moderating them. I know that they've put on a few things, but I've never attended them. I hope that answers your question. I know I've got Dawn, and we're getting late, so I'm gonna finish up here soon. Dawn.
Well, I just have one little comment in regards to the whether or not to do NARS senior real estate training or not. I'm in Oklahoma, so I went to exploring more about how this is all gonna work in Oklahoma and stumbled across the Success in Senior Real Estate
Yes.
Institute.
Yes. So that's what I was going to say. There is SREI, the Seniors Real Estate Institute. That's Nikki Buckalow. Dr. Nikki Buckalow's fascinating. I wholeheartedly will tell you that if you feel the need to get that more education and really depth and knowledge of every single facet of it, go to Dr. Nikki Buckalow. Go to pay the money and go to Nikki. I love Nikki. She's great at what she does. Her and her husband own the academy. They are not recognized by NAR. And she's been running it, I mean, for as long as I've remembered. But I love what she is all about, and I love what she does. I've had her here actually at Seniors Network over the years. But if you feel the need to go do that, I personally, again, like to get specific education because I don't want all encompassing. I love Nikki and I love her program, but I don't need every facet that she has. I was very specific on what I wanted because that's what I like. One of them was caps. So I went directly to NAB to get caps because I needed to know what can I do to help them stay here. I want to know everything. Help me, help me. I need to know. And that was the best. That was the best. That was the best I ever did for myself.
Awesome.
But you know, it's everybody. I did that because it was an educational thing for me. It wasn't about the lettering.
Okay.
Different strokes for different folks is how I see that.
Yeah, I just want to be in compliant
Yeah. Yeah.
and I want to be the best servant that I can be to this industry.
Yeah, of course. No, follow the EXP thing. And if you have questions, then question them because they're going to come out and they're going to tweak it. But I'm telling you guys, without feedback from everybody, this isn't going to succeed. And I want to see you guys succeed because I know how fruitful it is on my end of what I'm doing. The placements are fabulous, but I'm an educator. And because I'm educating, people are flocking and going, well, you know everybody. Why do you think I know everybody? Because you're telling me you know all about this assisted living community. They assume I don't know everybody. I mean, I do know people. I know 3 people or 4 people in, every industry around here. Great. I know everybody. Do I know someone in Colorado? No, but I'm going to find you one. I'll find you someone in my network. But, it's no different. I just think it's important, in that next step of our career. All right. For those of you who've never attended, just know that I always go over. I have a lot to say and I don't stop. And thank you for always showing up. I'll stop the recording. Anybody else? We all